This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/AwesomeCast. Time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the social medias. Here in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, PA, on this very damn snowy Pittsburgh night. The intern is nestled into their dorm. Are you? I think they're in a dorm. So and remote and everything.
Yeah, it's cold. My toes hurt.
But I understand. Intern John does have food, so we're okay. What's that? True. Yes. So we've checked in. We've done a wellness check on everybody, about everybody on the show. So, anyways, we do have Dave Podnar of the iPhoneography podcast with us tonight.
Hey, Sorg, and a happy, wondrous, snowy night to everyone.
Oh man, yes. You know what? I'm kind of okay with this not happening at Christmas, considering all the traveling we do for it, right?
True.
But man, all the decorations. There's still wreaths on the pole here on this January 14th here in Beachview. You know what? I am doing exactly the same damn thing that I said not to do when I did a class this week. Because I'll roll into my awesome thing. I'm talking about the weather on a podcast. And I said to my class, isn't that the most annoying thing that could happen? And they're like, yes. So, and I have now fallen into that. So anyways, that is my awesome thing. Podnar, I'm a teacher now.
Woo!
It's not the first time. I did some classes about 10 years ago in what used to be PTI. I went, I guess I'm a professor. I'm not entirely sure. I guess I'm like some.
No.
Am I officially a professor now?
If you teach at the college level, you are a professor.
It is a university, so this is wow.
So and you are, and since you're part-time, you're an adjunct professor.
Okay.
That's the official term.
Okay. Adjunct professor. Yes. I'm man, I really kind of backed into this. So I'm really kind of picking up as I go here and figuring this out. But also it's so what I'm teaching is an introduction to podcast kind of thing. I think it's an elective for them. Not everybody's a media student necessarily. So they did listen to the first 15 minutes of this show last week. Up through Katie's Awesome Thing of the Week, at least. So as a sample, and of course another podcast I do for your company there, Podnar. We did a little bit of that too. So I mean,
you scared me there. When you said another podcast.
I'm not.
Oh
no
my
Mayhem
God! Did
show.
you have them listen to the Mayhem show?
I'm pretty sure I'm going to HR if I play Mayhem show. So we're not doing that. And they're very nice to me so far. So I'm gonna make sure I'm okay with that. So I'm very selective on those kinds of things. No, it's been great. I got to tell you, I have a lot more confidence than the first time I did this because I got kind of thrown into doing some web technologies that I had not actively done for almost a decade at that time. And it's like, I got my notes, I got a guideline, and it's like, cool, I'll fill in the blanks. I've kind of been doing this for a while. So it's been really cool to say that. And also connected with that, we have, if you haven't seen on our sister podcast, Chris Maverick of University of Pitt fame, I don't know, but a lot of people seem to know him, is over on Fishing Without Bait. I've been talking with him about things because he's a professor over at he's a real professor over at Pitt. But no, it was really cool to kind of touch base with him a little bit after that call about what we're getting into here. So no, it's fun. I like the vibe over at Point Park so far. I've actually been it's nothing new. A lot is new actually because they built a lot of stuff and bought a lot of buildings. But no, we used to do Point Park. PodCamp Pittsburgh down there for several years down at the University Center and things like that. So one of the guys that actually has been he's back with us doing the training on Thursday nights with 880 Wrestling since we moved to the South Side. So it's really, I have a great Pittsburgh Thursday every week, Dave, where I go down to the South Side, set up for the evening, go do my class, and come back and do the show. It's and teach video. So it's a big learning experience on every Thursday. So I'm really kind of enjoying that. And being in Pittsburgh, that's big. I don't think I've ever had a job downtown. That's new too. So I'm learning that.
It feels different. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I taught at University of Phoenix, for a while we had classes out of the Wyndham, the old Hilton downtown, and that it does feel different versus being out like in a suburban um, park type situation.
Yeah,
you know.
I'm teaching in the. I think I don't know what the whole building is, but it's a media innovation center. I know moved into the one corner building down there. Because remember they used to be down by like the YWCA or something on Wood Street. We're getting really localized here, guys. Sorry. But I think most of our listeners are Pittsburgh, anyways. But no, and I'm going to get a tour of the newer facility here. Because also I want to see what my students kind of have access to know what we're like. Hey, go do this. How do we do this? I don't know what you guys have downstairs. I want to make sure I'm closing the loop on that kind of thing before we get into that level of the technologies. So, but no, and also I realized that, a longtime listener of the show may know my best friend Chachi that helps with, he's an IT guy. He's contributed to the show years ago, and still helps with some of our video production. But he actually went to ICM, which is in the building that I'm currently teaching in. Is where he went for his IT stuff. So it was an interesting. It's really interesting that's like how that goes together. But no, I really like it. And also, I'm very interested to see, what. I've barely talked to anybody going into this. There was a lot of emails and things like that. I got my email, I got my Canva, and it was pretty. It was a little late getting into it because of stuff with holidays and I was under the weather. But generally, it was very kind of smooth into it. Kind of situation, and I'm I think we worked on Blackboard 10 years ago when I did this before, to see kind of how that's come through, and I think I have an option if there's any issues to do a remote class now that everybody's used to that. So I'm actually inquiring about that right now because I have a little bit of a travel conflict I need to make sure I'm able to still do classes for. So things like that. So very excited about that. I'm sure I'll probably talk about it more on Patreon here in the coming weeks as well as we go. But the class, and also it's an elective, so everybody kind of wants to be there, I think. So we already have some really interesting
that definitely helps. Yeah.
Podcast ideas. I was going around a little bit and everything. So and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so I'm Professor Sorg at Point Park University officially. I have an ID. I have a second ID now that I think is official. I don't know. So, you know what? I'm going to test it. They always ask for a picture ID when you go to AMC theaters on the A list. So I'm going to give them my Point Park ID and see if it tracks. So I'm sure the kid sitting at the podium is not going to give a crap. But but
not only that, but you can get education discounts now.
I was keeping that on the down low, but yes. Oh yeah, I have access to like Adobe Pro Suite and stuff. I'm like, well, cool. I was already paying for it. So.
I mean, and you are teaching, so this isn't like someone teaching a course. Yeah, I mean, you are a college professor, so Apple, Microsoft all offer educational discounts.
So it was a good time for me to get a new Mac, is what you're telling me.
Yes, because their discounts, even on the cheapest Mac, like if you get the base MacBook Air, which is $999, it's $100 off. That's a big hunk of a discount.
Bad. Yeah.
So yeah, Apple, like I said, Apple, Microsoft, Dell, HP, they all have their education market because they think, the idea is get the kids. They're thinking kids, get the kids, get them when they're young, and then just get them in that, I bought this, so I'm always going to buy this going forward. And
then along with it, make sure the teachers have the same tech, so they're making sure that they're teaching on it and really integrating people on platforms. That's why they're giving out Chromebooks in high schools and things like that, right? So to kind of bring them into the services and that platform. Same with Macs. We had an Apple IIe in my school until 1993. So that was like a 10-year investment. You shouldn't do that with computers. Definitely, that kind of dawned on me like as I was getting set up last week. I was like, oh, I got an educational discount. Ooh, okay. All right. We're going to see what's going on there, So, but anyways, yeah, that's all I have to say about that right now. I'm just really, I don't know. I just it just kind of dawned on me, and I'm really excited about it. I'm really happy with how it's going so far.
And I'll be interested in like you said, in terms of the technology used. For those of us who have been out of school for a while, it's kind of wild what they can do with technology, with you grading, giving exams, all on the computer. You know.
Attendance was super easy. I don't remember attendance being this easy before. I think I had like a printed out thing to do it, and I had to turn in or something like that. It was just all in Canvas. I keep calling Canva, which is wrong. But yeah, I'm going to confuse people on that. But no, yeah, very interested to see what we're doing with that. I presume we're going to do. I got to see like what they want to use for the software and everything like that. Because I think it's in our class. I just want to make sure I'm on the same page and all that. But anyways, no, really happy with that. So we'll I'm sure I'll have updates here. It's going to be through the end of April, right before my travel season, and we'll. Well, actually, I want to be part of it. Sounds like my travel season is expanding a little bit, so I got to work out some logistics there. So anyways, got an interesting request today. Actually, I got 2 interesting requests this week. So I'm going out west at least twice extra right now. So but that's still to be sorted. But anyways, enough about me gloating about my teaching prowess. Dave, what is it's time for Dave Podnar. No, not that one. No, oh no, all of them are playing. How about this one?
Thing of the week.
There you go.
There we go. So as of right now, we are less than a week away from TikTok being no longer to be distributed to the US. Now, if you have TikTok on your phone and you have a login, there's nothing stopping you from the federal government from continue to use TikTok in the US, except that TikTok has said, if we're banned, we're just going to shut it all down.
And that is their choice in this matter. They want
that
to
is their
hardline things and pretty much get the users to be like, hey, what the hell? But they are kind of like doing it themselves. But also, if you're taking off these platforms, your prospects for making money as a company kind of do go away. So why would you run at that point? Right? So
yeah, because we all know advertising wants to see growth, and there's no way you can have growth in the US. So, you know, they may lose advertisers. It's going to cost money, and like you said, they're playing hardball. So we'll see if something can be extended, or what's going to happen in the Supreme Court in the next week.
There's somebody on the Senate is trying to put a bill through to extend it 120 days, and at that point, we know that the new administration is now pro TikTok. So I do not expect TikTok to go away, to be quite honest.
The problem is that having to, because the ban was on an executive order, so. Unlike executive orders where the president can just say, oh, I'm ignoring or I'm recalling the executive order from the previous person, this was actually passed by law. One of the few things actually passed by law. So to overturn it, they're going to have to pass a new law, which means the House and Senate.
Or somebody can disqualify the law for one reason, like the Supreme Court. If they find
the Supreme Court would have to do that. Yeah.
So
if the Supreme Court doesn't do it, then the House and Senate will have to pass it. Go to the president, and the president.
The other matter of it is the executive branch can also determine not to enforce it.
True,
that is actually something
they could do that.
They can just be like, yeah, you know what, just don't. It's a law, but yeah, just don't worry about that one.
We're just not going to fund any.
Anyways, the point is,
but that's all. That's
in
all
the meantime, as everybody's preparing for the maybe inevitable shutdown of this entire situation.
So people are doing backups. There, literally a quarter of my TikTok feed is people saying, "Thank you for the community. I love the community on here." And if you want to find where I'm going, no one ever says link in bio, because on TikTok they'll actually take you down if you say link in bio.
Are you seriously?
Yeah.
But you can also include links. You can include links on TikTok.
So. No, you can include, but if you mention the word link in bio, your views go down. So people are just kind of holding up signs saying link in bio. Kind of crazy. But so people are going other places now. People do not want to go to Instagram because there's an anti-Zuckerberg thing going on.
which is even bigger now over comments and movements in last
Exactly.
week.
Exactly.
So we won't get into right now.
And no one's going to X at all. They're like, no, we're not, it's not even in the conversation.
Same issue.
So, yeah, exactly. So it's YouTube Shorts, or people are looking for other things to go to. And one of their things is, it's in Chinese. It's literally a Chinese clone of TikTok made for the Chinese market. So now, obviously, there are major possible issues with this. First of all, it was made for the Chinese market, and then all of a sudden, a few TikTokers said, "I'm going over there because it runs just like TikTok, but it's not getting banned yet." So they're going over to the new platform.
They're going straight to a straight up Chinese platform.
Yeah.
Which is worse than, I would think, being on TikTok and all the problems that they claim that there are with a TikTok situation, right? This is an article from Forbes that we're showing now. And it's basically TikTok. And yes, all the menus are definitely in Chinese. So
they are correcting that quickly,
but they are showing you,
quickly.
They are showing you can go in there and this is showing you how to turn into English, but I'm sure they're going to surface that a little bit here in the near future as it becomes I love that this video is on TikTok.
Oh yeah, but I'll let you know tell you how quickly it's changed. When I created my account, because I followed the advice I think Dutters gave it of, when there's a new platform, plant your flag, because whether it takes off or not, you have a flag posted there. Yeah. So I created an account just in case.
Gotta do this now. Yep.
When I put it as United States, it put everything in English.
Okay, so they've already kind of solved that. Good.
Yeah, they're working quickly because they're used to like this little Chinese market, and all of a sudden, all these Americans are coming over.
I want to put this caution on this, other than like, yes, as a Chinese landed app. We did see from our good friend, social influencer that I actually just saw last night, but I saw her post in the last 24 hours about Red Note and moving to it, because she's got content on TikTok. She's pretty big over there. And allegedly I don't think they're allowing LGBT content on Red Note. Now, I just did a search to try to look for that, and I do not see any evidence to back that up, but that could be a caution point.
This is a major caution point.
Yeah.
Because
the whole damn situation is a major caution point. Let's make this clear.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
I almost kind of don't recommend downloading it, but I'm going to. But
yeah. Well, here's the thing. And a lot of people, there is a joke going around TikTok with people dressing up and saying, "Hello, I am your Chinese spy." It has been great to spy on you the last couple of years and tell you what to think. One person even said, "Oh, and by the way, George in New York, call your mother. Jenny in Los Angeles, don't call him back. He's not worth it." So, and the thing is, a lot of people are like, "Oh, the Chinese are going to spy on you," and people are like, "Yeah, Facebook did that in 2016.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's the big deal? I mean, literally, it's what's the big deal in terms of, we know people are going to take our data. So, and people, you can see social media is influencing the elections for at least the last 3 presidential elections, and probably before that.
Yeah.
Where social media had a direct impact on how people saw facts, depending on what the facts are.
And we see there was a good point brought up on Twitter. I think it was Twitter I was listening to this week. That says, we haven't had a privacy law since, I think they said 1988. Last privacy law in the U.S. about porn, because it was around. Basically the privacy law was that you cannot share information of what people rent at a video store. Is the last time we did a privacy law. So
that doesn't shock me.
Yeah,
that doesn't.
Which
shock
I
me.
think I'm pretty sure happened after like a politician was caught like renting porn, because of course, because we're going to solve the problems that the politicians have. So is how it goes. So damn it, we're getting way too on the edge of political here. So
no, I'm going to get a little more political real quick.
Okay.
You have to realize.
Watch yourself.
You have. These are facts, though.
Yes.
China, the country, the government, not the people, the government does control the facts that come into the country.
Mhm.
Like, you're not allowed to mention Tiananmen Square.
Yeah. For instance.
Okay. Taiwan is shown as part of mainland China and not a separate country. You're not allowed to mention that Taiwan right now is independent.
Mhm.
You are not allowed to mention about a whole bunch of religious stuff.
Mhm.
So there is no freedom of speech in China. So if, Red Book decides, like you said, to start now, I've seen people who are trans women
Mhm.
who I followed on TikTok that I went over to the Red Note, and they're on there, but they're not talking. You're just talking general, not necessarily trans issues.
Mhm.
So if they start posting, and now I'm assuming if they post negative about the U.S., they may keep it on there.
Mhm.
But if they just start posting in general, it may get taken down. They may get blocked. I've heard some people already get blocked and things. Similar to how TikTok
this
is.
is something that is based there, so it's going to be under all of their decency laws.
Exactly.
And things like that. Wow, those may apply,
Exactly. So I mean, yeah,
unfortunately.
could. This is just a reflex reaction to we don't want to go here. We don't want to go here. This over here doesn't really work. Someone said, "Hey, look at this over here." There's, I don't want to say over what, but there's a good amount of saying, "Okay, we'll try over there,
Mhm.
and we'll see what happens."
I don't know what to do next. I got to pick 4 interests, but they are not in English yet.
You know what?
Hold on, I'm going to skip again. I'm going to skip. Hold on. The menu stuff is, but like literally the interest. Okay, yeah, and then the videos I'm getting are relatively in English, so that's pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna how many apps to just kind of mimic the Reels kind of situation here. So
True.
Ooh,
But the big thing,
my top stuff at the beginning is For You Live fashion, manicure, food, wallpaper, handmade, profile photos, cosmetics.
but remember, this was designed as a lifestyle app originally.
Yes.
So this was designed for, fashion, lifestyle, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, am I a green pepper? Is that what my default icon is?
But yeah,
that their
you have
egg
different
situation?
default passwords.
Okay, and
Now what you have to do, you have to fill in your profile, and you have to put in your phone number.
That's already happened. That has already happened.
Okay.
They kind of logged me in for this. So, but I'm getting my Sorgatron officially. Hello.
There we go.
Hello, China. I'm on. Considering we're on the now very Korean, I think, Plurk app that we've resurrected
worldwide
from back in the day when we tried that in like 2010. But like I ain't afraid of it. That's okay. Nothing I do here can be worse than my personal experience while in China for a few hours. So that almost went really bad. So anyways, okay, well, have fun with this. It's another platform. The other one is Lemonade, which I think is also a ByteDance
That's the
program.
problem. Lemonade and CapCut
Yes.
are all, and they will all, if TikTok goes away, they also go away.
I'm hearing the law is about TikTok. Allegedly.
Yeah, but this app could also go away pretty quick.
Anything could go away. Anything could.
The way the law is written is it can use against anything against a country that we are with have a conflict with.
Let me restate that. So the way it was explained on the one thing is the law is the president, I believe, can determine any app can be taken down if it is determined to be a threat. That's pretty open-ended, which is kind of scary.
But I think it's pointed more towards apps that are outside the U.S.
Yes, I believe it is.
Control.
I believe it is.
So the president couldn't just say, "I want Facebook gone."
If this continues,
or I want Instagram gone.
If this continues, so let's get to the tech side of what this can be. This could be a reason that you're going to see the return of jailbroken phones. Maybe it's going to become popularized. I think there's going to be a new fight over jailbreaks. Obviously, that's a lot easier over on an Android device, right? I think you can get. I'm pretty sure in America you can get the you can jailbreak and get the Epic Store, right? I can't get it on my iPhone because it's a little more of a closed system. You just have to hit a couple buttons. You can download anything on an Android device.
On an Android, right?
I hope that there will be a fight over allowing that here as well. Honestly, personally, just like we're having over in Europe right now. But I hope that. But the trends do not just seem to be going that way. Something fell or something in here. Sorry, there's a salt truck that pulled away when that happened, so I'm kind of concerned.
Okay, making sure nothing.
I'm like, did they throw a chunk of salt at my door or something like that? So, but anyways, yeah. So I this in the same vein that I say that I'm very excited when we broke half of the shit. There's my one swear. We're PG-13. Broke half of the stuff with social media because of all the upheaval lately, and I think that's very exciting and interesting. To a certain point, I think this is as well. If TikTok goes, I think it's a really, to me, it's unfortunate, but I think it's a really interesting case study to see what happens to these communities. A lot of the people I already follow are already like, hey, I'm over on Instagram. Hey, I'm doing this over on YouTube. And obviously they need to, they need to continue, right? And some of them have already diversified and have podcasts and things like that, right? From their COVID era TikTok stardom that they've had, right? Under the Desk News, for instance, has made a move over there. But the problem is I go follow them on the new thing and I don't see them yet in my algorithm because I'm still watching the same stuff, right? So I will go follow, but I don't see them in my algorithm yet.
And that is one thing that TikTok, it wasn't the short videos, it was the algorithm that made it so
the
much
way it
better.
surfaced things. Like there was it was just
because it was the easiest way a lot of times to get the community. And I think people are missing, it's the community that people want. It's I may not see anyone local who relates to the situation I'm in, but there's people out there and I can find them easier through this app. And like I said, Insta doesn't do that. Facebook doesn't do it. Twitter sure doesn't do it.
No.
So, this, and people are saying, okay, they're even saying, the creators, I'm going to miss the community. Even though we move on, I'll tell you where I'm going. It still won't be same.
I mean, that's why we ported one out for Twitter when it started changing, right? Because it's just like, well, this is not going to be a thing, and it's wherever it is, but it's unfortunate. But anyways, so Red Note. Hopefully, I'll be able to read that. If you search for it, it does come right up. It's going to be the red icon at the top that is that you can't read yet. Is situation. So let us know if you are. Let us know. Actually, again, hashtag AC716 on any of the social medias and tag AwesomeCast. We're on every platform that we possibly can. And if we're not, let us know if it's something we should be on, especially with this moving platform situation. And let us know, like, if you are moving off of TikTok or preparing to move off TikTok, where are you going as a creator? Where are you going as a user? To kind of fill that space. It's because something it'll fill in space. It's like a glass. It's like water. Like something will move into the space. I always talk about on the wrestling show how I don't care when it feels like WWE and AEW have rated the talent of the indies or New Japan or something like that. The talent will fill the space, right? Opportunities will present itself. And it could be maybe this is an opportunity for another platform, one that we're already looking into or something to explode a little bit, with an influx or something like that. So, because somebody's going to be interested in building something that is not a Zuckerberg, Google, Elon product right now. Like and there's, we can, debate on the reasons and everything, but that is happening and that is a fact. And anybody that works in the social media content creation, marketing, whatever, is going to have to reconcile that. And as much as we can complain, hey, it makes it so much easier. It's just like, you're not here because it's easy. You're here because you need to figure out a new problem every 6 months. Or less, at this rate. We've been I think I want a hot take here for a minute. And I really hope we clip this on the TikTok later. I think social media people have been lazy because they've had the same thing to deal with for the last several years, right? What's changed in social media? We've been on, unless Facebook decides to do something different, right? There's not, hey, everybody's over here, we got to figure it out. I don't think you've had that. I cannot remember a groundswell of something like that since the last big one I remember is the summer of Meerkat and Periscope. That is now,
no, I want to say TikTok.
TikTok is not, TikTok would be the other one. But generally, that still did not affect you on the other platforms because so many ignored TikTok, but to their detriment. But anyways, that's where I'm at with that. But anyway, so we'll see what's going on there. I mean, this is all going to be a moving target, and by tomorrow when I'm doing clips, I'm going to realize how many of these things that I'm actually wrong about. Just like last week when I mentioned the CapCut thing, and then saw the CapCut's not going away article literally the next day. It was like, okay, cool. So I had to put a disclaimer and stuff like that, but. Anyway,
we go by what we know at the time of recording.
Yes, at press time. In my mind, this is what's going on. That's what we're not a news podcast; we're a punditry podcast. Which means we just mostly talk out of our ass most of the time. Anyways, where are we at with things?
Hey,
it's
Patreon?
time. What's that?
Let's say Patreon.
Yes, Patreon. Thank you to everybody that does support this show over on patreon.com/awesomecast. We do have a Sorgatron Media private feed going on for you guys for a little bit before. It was just me kind of setting some stuff up and trying to fix my Loop TV player here for the window. But anyways, but you will get a little bit of the Patreon chatter, and I'm sure we'll get into something here. We already got pretty deep into it, so for my comfort. But thank you everybody that does support the show over on patreon.com/awesomecast, including Cynthia Klosky, John DeGore, and the Dave Podnar as well. There he is in my background. So thank you guys so much for supporting the show, keeping this show rolling, keeping us our servers paid for. And actually, we get pretty much enough to handle the servers. So if you are listening, if you are enjoying, even $1 a month helps out. If everybody listening to the show gave $1, we'd be doing pretty good here on Tuesday nights and everything. So thank you so much for everybody that supports the show. Hey, we're going to continue our old tech. I don't have a sounder for that. But you were bringing out last week. You did the netbooks from CES 2010. I was looking at some of the wrap ups, and we have a few things from the people I was following from CES this week. Usually we have Chilla is usually pretty good about giving us some CES techs, and he keeps an eye on that stuff for his job with his tech rollout situation, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I you know what I had, because like every time we talk about CES, I remember, and CES was something that was brought up, exposed to me via Nintendo Power magazine, and Nintendo Power was a Nintendo exclusive magazine that came out of their fan club, mostly talking about the Nintendo Entertainment System back in the day. So I was a little biased, although they really did trash games despite being like in the ecosystem, which was pretty incredible. I know that there is an earlier version of this, but also along with this, and this is a great old tech thing I feel that goes along with this, because I discovered as I was looking for evidence of this, I was just like, oh, is there an article or does somebody have these screen caps or something? Archive.org has a good run of the original Nintendo Power magazines. Holy crap! I need to see if they have Game Pros in Electronic Gaming Monthlies and stuff in there too. But I always remembered they would have a CES report. I mean, this is before E3. There was more video games at the Consumer Electronics Show. Let's go there. So there's like, here's the one from summer of, what year is this? It's the year Ninja Turtles, the Ninja Turtles arcade game sequel came out. Dr. Mario, Mega Man 3, the keyboard, the freaking miracle keyboard thing that they had for the NES. The Simpsons first game was coming out, a couple a Beetlejuice game. That'll time you pretty good there, right? Look at this thing. Well, and this is a thing that never popped out. Konami was doing something called the Laserscope Voice Command Stereo Headset. That did not seem to pan out for them either. some Game Boy games here. Looks like the first Nintendo, first Ninja Turtles game. And by the way, the next page is Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. So that really kind of ages that as well. So, but no, I just really appreciate that. Like this was my first like big kind of dump into something like this. And I think I have one. And also there was a summer CES at the time, which I think went for several years. But by the time I started paying attention, I think they were only doing the winter version of it. Probably E3 split that out, right? Because I think E3 might have started in Chicago for all I know, like around the late 90s when they were starting to do this. But even as I was going through things, Dave, I was looking at, I was curious about former best of shows because I feel like that was a big bellwether for whatever was going on at the time. Boy, was I wrong. Because I was looking at an article going through like a lot of the weird best ofs over the years. And two technologies that I'd never heard of from like 2000 and 2001 came up. One is an optical disc format that I believe it was the 2001 best of show, according to this article I was reading. It's called Data Play. Dave, this was a hot optical disc in a cartridge storing 250 megabytes per side. Intended primarily for portable music playback. I don't know if this is the one that went into like the Sony Dixman players or whatever they called them. It feels like it's a Sony player or something. No, it was developed by something called Data Play Inc. It hit the consumer market in 2002. They were tiny discs in a protective cartridge. But again, like I feel like that, like I thought the mini discs maybe they were the precursor to the mini disc that like Sony used and everything like that too. But yeah, it's not really showing anything. Oh wait, I did find. Oh no, I found pictures of the cartridges. So, by what should be his sister this show, the awesomer.com. They were super mini. Look at the size of these. They are just like, I don't know what you would hold at that side that I can kind of tell our audio listeners there. But.
Yeah, I would say a little. Well, if you wear glasses that are a little bigger in your eyeball, they look like the size of one glass.
I'd say it's
maybe a little bit bigger.
It's not as thick as this regular sized iPhone. I'm trying to hold the same way as the picture here. So, but yeah, it's incredible. I don't remember these. I have no recollection of these from this time.
No,
and
I don't either.
I'm fresh out of it. I'm in the middle of college when this is happening. Well, art school technically, but
okay. 32 millimeter diameter. So I think that's around an inch.
Okay.
It was an inch across. The disc were an inch across, but then you have the thickness of the case and everything else.
When you go back to 2000, what technology were we excited about at the turn of the century, Dave? It was cordless phone technology. Not cellular. Cordless is the CyberGenie cordless 2.4 gigahertz PC phone system. I don't know what all good. It's got messages, graphic interface, virtual personal assistant.
Is that the cord that's in a circle, or is that a CD?
I don't know because the picture's so bad.
I know.
Actually, I think it does connect to it says PC phone system. I believe it's going to connect to your computer, which is a tremendous idea on your Pentium 2 Windows. Not 2000. What was the one around 2000 that they did? Was it ME?
The ME?
Yeah,
ME?
Your Windows ME Millennium Edition PC running this thing.
This one can handle dual phone lines. That was a big deal.
Whoa.
For those people listening who are too young to remember, when you had dial-up internet, sometimes you paid the extra $30 a month to have a separate phone line just for your computer.
I was telling my students about, because I was putting over file sizes in the history of podcasting this week. And I was like, listen, does anybody know what a modem was like back in like the 90s? And the idea, like I had to explain, like, like you ever watch an old movie and they're literally watching like a picture load line by line. Like, yeah, that's how we lived back in the day on a computer. Right. And I talked about how we had a second phone line and how I had a modem that pulled two 56K modems together to get a little bit more
Mhm.
that and stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's oh god, the things we did, man. And that was the fun era. So
Oh yeah.
it was all
Oh no,
text before
I
that.
remember. No, I remember downloading images
Mm-hmm.
from Usenet
Mm-hmm.
where you had to download 5 different files and then combine them together because the image was too big to download. It was too big to store in one image.
Oh my god, they were parsing images into multiple files. I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot. That's how. Are we talking about like what like the Napsters and everything we're using? Because the whole point was
no. I'm talking Usenet. I'm talking the
Usenet itself would do that, and you just pull the
Yeah.
file and like what program did you use to pull the files back together? Oh, this is so interesting. I'm sure for most
Yeah.
out there.
Well, no, I'm trying to remember because it's been over 25 years.
Because related to that, when your Napsters and your Kazaa was the other one.
Yeah.
The whole point of them was this distributed sharing. So
Mhm.
instead of you downloading an MP3 off of one server or somebody else's computer, because the idea is I could sit at an MP3 on my computer and somebody could take that off of my computer and download it themselves.
Mhm.
There was no central server. That's why they couldn't shut it down. So the idea is instead of you downloading from one, like taking my bandwidth on my dual 56K modem, dude, damn, about to lose that PG-13 rating. The idea is you're now taking a part of that MP3 file from like 5 different computers. So now you're
Mhm.
not like killing the bandwidth on all, and you actually should be getting a better bandwidth on yours if you have more on your side. So it's literally like, okay, like the first like third comes from this, or second half comes from this, a part piece of it comes from this, because it was never even either. It was kind of interesting how they kind of did that kind of thing. So it was interesting to me that was already happening on the Usenets, and Usenets are like a what'd you call it? A board, a chat room, or no, they're board. They were like message boards, weren't they?
Chat.
So I'm thinking
I wouldn't call it chat.
IRC. IRC was kind of like a big chat room.
Right, IRC,
and then you would
which is an internet relay chat, IRC.
Yes.
So no, the Usenet was literally a bulletin board.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a discussion forum.
Okay.
Almost Reddit, where you would have different boards set up under different topics, and you could post information. Again, it wasn't graphics, so you had to get the graphics converted into a format that you could upload, and there was a limit. So sometimes you had to break it down to multiple images and upload that. Forget about video. That was non-existent. So that couldn't happen. Like, I know if anyone's ever heard or watched the show Babylon 5, the creator, JMS, he was active in the use groups. The Babylon 5 one. So people would talk about, he would actually go on there and talk while the show was on in the late 90s.
Wow.
With fans.
That was breakthrough. That's before we had Twitter, and it was so easy for everybody to do that. So like I remember the wrestlers were doing that at, with America Online and things like that. So it's pretty incredible that we survived the 90s, honestly. So I actually have the first issue of Nintendo Power Up now. And I'm trying to see if I can find that first CES report that really got my attention. I was like, oh, this looks like the coolest thing. I'd love to go here someday, kind of situation. Oh, I love some of these captured magazines are as in rough shape as mine are as well. So CES report, page 15. This might be the one I'm looking for. So
well, and people also forget a lot of times older information there's no digital file, so they're taking probably a hard copy and scanning it.
Who decides to format a magazine this way? They made like a Monopoly board situation with stuff sideways here as they're going through this thing. Listen, they're putting over the Double Dare game for Nintendo on this thing. Sesame Street. This is like somebody's like schedule or something is how they're presenting the situation and going to the booths. But like some of them, but I love just like the pictures in this thing of the people playing video games and the kind of setups they had and stuff like that. It just looks very, very, very interesting. So, anyways, that's enough of that. That's enough of the throwback. Let's get into. Let's see if there's some other
Yep, it's the news.
stuff going on there. But first, let's give where am I at? I didn't even get. There we go. First, I want to give a shout out because we haven't doing this enough here on this show. Shout out to our friends at Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with a perfect pepperoni pizza when people can make it here through the snow. It seems. It's melting. I see the water flowing down the street right now, actually, from the melting snow. But anyways, thank you guys so much to the guys supporting us and support them too at sliceonbroadway.com. So getting into it, Dave, what do you want to talk about first out of this list that I put together? What is the most interesting out of this mostly CES list?
You know what? I like the smart dog collar.
The smart dog collar.
Yeah.
This is
so it almost.
You watched the video?
I did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not only a dog tracker, it has AI to notice your dog's movement.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost a smartwatch for your dog.
And we were watching the video. Daily Tech News Show, one of my favorite podcasts for those straight news, was on the floor and had a presence and had a few videos they were posting. And I love they have a husky representative, which they were even saying in the video is notorious for being escape artists, if you will. They're very smart. My sisters had huskies. They are very kind, very smart dogs that can get themselves into some trouble there. But yeah, like you said, it's very kind of the AI part is, I think it was learning where they can be and everything like that. Like a bunch, like you can do a geofencing, you can do an invisible fence kind of situation with this too. And that's really big about learning. My mom does that with her lab. Has the beep thing, with the little shock thing, but usually it's the beep and they're good and they come back kind of situation, right? Anyways, but yeah, I know this is one that. What else kind of interests you about this one here, Dave?
Just the fact that, like I said, it's tracking, because you can get trackers. Literally, you can get you can put an Apple AirTag on your dog.
I have,
on a collar. Mm-hmm. But having something that also can do a little bit more and learn more than just like an AirTag type thing, which that's really more useful for finding after the fact, not tracking and giving you information while stuff is happening.
The company,
now, admittedly, our two dogs are mostly indoor dogs because they're small little dogs. But I can imagine someone who does lots of walks, lots of hikes. Now, these are not little tags. If you notice on the back of the lab there, it looks like something Doc Ock has there.
Yeah, it's
because
like
there's
harness.
4 straps coming out. Yeah, it's a harness and it's coming on the back of the dog.
That one has one like that, but there's actually a collar on the other dog, and I think it was a straight collar that they're showing. So I think there's different models of this thing from the looks of it. And this is not out yet. This is from a company called Saddle AI. So imagine satellite and AI smushed together. Very straightforward. And they are calling it the first satellite and AI driven pet wearable. Again, this is a thing that's down the line. It's not out yet, I believe. Wait, am I mistaken? Maybe this is one that is out. One of these was out. Maybe this is the other object that was. One of these was out. One of these is coming soon, and I can't remember which is which. It was the other one because it has a Kickstarter. I think this might be rolling out. No, this one's rolling out soon. Sorry, I got my details mixed up. But yeah, it's really, I think, especially if somebody that takes your dogs, going camping and things like that, right? I think that's very helpful for something like that. But even generally, just even if it is a dog that you need to kind of keep more of an eye on, it's probably appropriate to use something like this too, right?
Yeah. Plus, the other thing is, like they said, this isn't working just on LTE. So let's say you do go camping out in the wilderness. This does use a satellite modem. That's that big thing on the back. So that's a big help too.
I like it. I like it for an option. And I hope we get more of this. Also, there was actually a little bit of a fitness tracking kind of situation. We've had that too. We've had we were playing, oh God, I can't remember the name of it. We talked about it on the show, but we got it for free for like 6 months through our vet subscription thing we have with Banfield. And it would, it was basically like a fitness tracker. I mean, is my dog moving enough? Is my dog doing this? I really should refresh that because I feel like I need to know what my dog's doing because he's getting up there in age and want to keep an eye on things, right? But this will do that. It will do like the kind of like, hey, your dog hasn't moved much, get him outside, like kind of thing as part of this too. So it's really kind of combining a few different things. It's gonna be expensive. It's gonna be a lot of money for your dog, guys. It's more
than the fact they don't. I don't even think they say in the realm of or around.
Yeah.
So again, the CES was not meant originally to be here's the stuff that we're going to sell in the next month. It's here's stuff that we're probably going to sell if we can find distributors and maybe a little extra money, or if the stores will actually buy it from us, then it'll be available later in the year.
It's not necessarily directly for press, it's for distributors and partners and things like that, and building those relationships. They're there, the press is nice and gets them some buzz, but they're there to show it to people that they're hoping that will get in and, I don't know, Walmart or something, or the equivalent that works for them. So that's why you get something like this that isn't even out there yet, right? Let's go to the other one like that. That was also one that I saw on Daily Tech News Show. I love the idea of robot lawnmowers. I want a robot lawnmower very, very much. But this is one, the Limo, Lymow robot mower. And this solves a lot of problems. I want to get one of these for my mom. I really do. Although I think she likes kind of riding around on her tractor. But she's got a good side yards, and this thing's got like it has like tracks, like a tank tracks on it and stuff,
like a tank.
Like a track vehicle. Again, it's in about $2,000. It's apparently the Limo one is on Kickstarter right now, according to this lady on this video. And it'll roll over sticks. It will kind of determine like objects like that. It's very silent. And of course, it does have a bit of AI in it that will be able to learn your yard and things to watch out for and things like that, deal with pets and things like that of that nature as well. And they're showing it kind of like edging like a very interesting a line on the side of the yard around plants and things like that. So it does do a kind of super mulch thing, so it doesn't have a bag attached. It's really low profile actually, and it's really kind of interesting. So, and
the Kickstarter was really successful too.
Yeah.
Their goal was 30,000, and they made almost 4 million.
They kicked off on Kickstarter. They said they're going straight to retail as soon as that's done.
Yeah.
So I think it's just kind of a kickoff for the first round funding to get get it out the door from the looks of things.
Sure.
So. But that was really cool. So that's Limo, Lymon, one, the word one, and they're calling it a perimeter wire-free robot. Yeah, because that's the thing. If you have a perimeter thing, I don't have to worry about this because I have a fence. But and also it'd be complicated because I have like a side lot with a yard outside the fence. So like, what do I do then? But yeah, like generally, like you have to, and I think this happens with some of the invisible fences too. Like you got to put a wire around the perimeter of your property in order to use half of these things. So anyways, one more thing and then we'll get out of here because I think we started a little late. Because I definitely want to share this thing that came up. Again, this is I'm getting my best stuff from Daily Tech News Show right now because this is somebody built a Captcha. This is at doom-captcha.vercel.app. And if you just do a quick search for it, you'll find a Doom Captcha. And the idea is somebody created a Captcha that they are running an instance of Doom in your browser. And the idea is, and actually I can play this here. Let's see. I got hide shoot. The Captcha is that you have to kill 3 enemies in order to, I died, try again. I need to kill 3 enemies in order to solve the Captcha. The problem is it's on nightmare mode. So they're really messing with you on this one, and I'm dying like right away. So it's a little window. It feels like you're playing it on an old 286 or something. But it's kind of a fun little thing to kind of pop up and see if you can solve it, or else you're not getting into that website that you want to get into. Could you imagine if you just can I just drop this into like, thank you. Before you submit a comment on awesomecast.com, please solve the Doom Captcha. So how it works. Yeah. So that was a fun little, again, running Doom on everything situation. So Dave Podnar, thank you for joining me for this edition of the AwesomeCast, and staying warm up there. iPhoneography podcast, of course, is the other place we can hear your awesome voice. Is he frozen? Did we lose him? Oh no. I need to check my internet or Zoom or something. Intern John, are
No,
you
it's frozen for me too.
Okay. Maybe he's not okay.
Oh,
all right.
He's gone. All right.
We're going to do iPhoneography podcast. We're going to do a wellness check on Dave Podnar as well. Guys, thank you for joining us. We'll be back again next week. Oh, you're back?
He's waving goodbye. He's waving goodbye.
I'm waving goodbye. Yeah, my computer crashed on me, actually.
In on the phone to close the show is Dave Podnar. Thank you guys every time. Thank you guys. You have been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at Sorgatron.
I'm Eamon.
I'm Merlin.
And we're a gay.
And his NB.
Are you a reality television connoisseur?
Do you like it discussed from an LGBTQ lens?
If so, A Gay and His NB is the podcast for you.
Hear us break down all your favorite guilty pleasure reality shows from Bravo, Drag Race, and just about everything in between.
Listen to A Gay and His NB on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.